Hi there, gang. So, on this even worse camera, I'm just gonna quickly come on and tell you that the quality of the video you're about to see drops insanely in a second. But that's because the file got corrupted and I had to put it through like four different video savers in order to get it to work. And so this is the leftover file. This is what we have. I'm just simply not going to refilm this video because I simply don't have the time, nor do I want to. So enjoy.
Is this a weird angle? Good. So, without further ado, let's just get into the books that I read in the month of March. It's not a lot. I have been on a weird streak of doing weird things, let's just say. So I've not been reading a whole lot, but that's okay. We're going to persevere, as per usual. Let me move your asses back a little bit so you're not infringing on my personal space, and we'll get to it. All right, that's a beautifully weird angle. Let's go with that. So the first book I read in the month of March was Gifting Me to His Best Friend by Katie Roberts. And this is the second book following Your Dad Will Do that I read in February. It is also like pure smut, like 100%. Beginning to end of this book, all they do is fuck. And it is beautiful. I give it 5 out of 5 stars quite happily. It was really, really good. It's all about how this couple go on holiday with the husband's best friend, and they basically like do this every single year. Like they're constantly hanging out with this guy, with her husband's best friend, which is kind of like that TikTok.
Does anyone else's boyfriend have a boyfriend? Like your boyfriend has that one friend that he spends all of his time with and like is always on the phone with, and like will hang up the FaceTime with you to answer the phone call from his boyfriend. You know what I mean? And
this one sure does everything. But what I loved most about this book wasn't the smut. I know. What I loved most about this book is genuinely 100% the goddamn characters. Because even though we don't really know a lot about these characters, because this is smut, novella, erotica, whatever you want to call it. Like, I don't know where these people work or what city they live in or what kind of life they have. All of those details I basically like filled out for myself, and I made them to be these like super awesome professionals that have this incredible relationship. Because as you're reading the book, the one thing that's very clear is the incredible relationship. These two people were freaking meant for each other. They're the sweetest little couple. They have incredible communication. Their sex life is wonderful, and the amount of like openness and communication there is also like, damn, okay, go off, sis. And then they add like this third person to their whole thing, and then like all three of them merge so well, and they're just like playing off each other. They're being super respectful of each other's boundaries. They're like, we're open to this, but if you're not down to do it, then nothing's gonna happen. And I just love that. It was so sweet, so cute. I don't know how in 100 freaking pages of just pure sex this woman managed to pull off a better love story than half the romance books I've been reading. It's happened again, and I'm mad. All right, book number 2 that I read in the month of March is Twisted Dares by A.R. Breck. I'm sorry. That I gave 2 out of 5 stars, and honestly, I've low-key forgotten what it's about. I think it was like, it's that psychopath one. Right. So this story follows a girl who is like living with her aunt and uncle and her like cousin. She likes the cousin. The aunt and uncle are very abusive and very religious. The joke's on them though, because her parents were serial killers, and I think like they know this fact, which is why they're like uber weird religious or something. But yeah, this girl's parents, total fucking serial killers. So she has, yeah, exactly. She has the fucking serial killer genes. She's going Dark Betty on these bitches. So these uber religious, uber like abusive aunt and uncle decides to actually send these 2 girls to like a normal high school, even though I'm pretty sure they've been like homeschooled their entire life. I don't know why that would happen. In addition to that, it's also like a really preppy, fancy school where everyone's uber rich or whatever, which once again, I don't know how they got into. I'm pretty sure this was explained. It's just like so stupid and unbelievable that even if it is explained, I don't think they made me believe it if they did explain it. But they get sent to the school and they're like, we don't want to go. We're scared. We're going to get bullied. But then our serial killer girl, she's a low-key fighter. She is fighting her Dark Betty urges by going to this illegal fighting ring and fighting like convicts and grown men. This 17-year-old abused little girl. Yes, are we following? Great, wonderful. So there she meets another guy. He's like really buff, really hot, has tattoos. He like touches her and her like world explodes or whatever, and then he like knocks her out because this is a fight, obviously. Next day she comes to school, bada bing, bada boom, he's there. He's actually part of a mafia family with his two brothers. This is what I knew going into it. I knew it was going to be a mafia dude, and I knew it was going to be a serial killer daughter with like Dark Betty urges. I knew that going in. What I didn't actually know was the school aspect. And the school aspect was unfucking necessary. Let me tell you that right now. These characters did zero schoolwork. The school did not matter whatsoever. There was absolutely no reason for them to be in school for the story to happen, because the bullies in school play very little like on the plot. The school itself, so little interactions actually happen there. It's mostly at the fighting ring or this guy's house or her house. So it's like, why include the high school? Why not just make them like college kids or university kids or even like full-grown adults, and just like change the storyline a little bit? I guess like the only reason I can think of is the fact that like she can't get out from her abusive aunt and uncle until she turns 18, and supposedly she's not, or maybe she, but like I think she was 18 already. Like she could just leave. And then she like wouldn't leave only because her like cousin was still with them, the cousin that they never abused or anything. So I don't know what the fuck she was protecting there. She was not the one that should have been protecting anyone. But anyway, apart from like maybe that being her reason for not being able to go anywhere, I don't see what else it could have been. But mostly it was just like eh. The writing wasn't great. The sex wasn't. If you're gonna write trash, at least be aware of the fact that you're writing trash, because this felt like it was trying to be some mind fuck. Like, wow, I'm so smart. I'm so like dark and edgy. And have you seen Dark Betty over there? To book number 3, which technically I've not finished, but like I'm still gonna count it for March. I don't give a fuck anymore. Alright, book number 3 is When He's Dark by Suzanne Wright, which is a shifter romance in her, I think, Olympus Pack series, but I don't actually remember the name of the pack. So Suzanne Wright is like a go-to author for me. I trust this woman. She's written a number of series, all of which I genuinely adore. I'm not finished with a single one yet because that's just too much fucking responsibility, as you may know. But I can't say that I'm like absolutely in love with her writing, but she literally like she hits the spot that I need to get hit sometimes. Like what I'm looking for in a shifter romance is exactly what she writes. So we're just merged most of the time. We're connected. That being said, this book, when I saw the cover, when I saw the blurb, when I saw the reviews, I was like, I don't know if I want to pick this up. And for a long time I didn't, because I have it on my audiobook app, and for the longest time I thought for sure that this book was like off her back burner. Like I thought this was one of the first things she's ever written. Turns out it fucking ain't. She wrote it in like 2020. It's a new series. Mind blown. Not only because it looks like it was written in 2011, it's so much worse than anything she's put out in the last 10 years. It is so much worse. I gave it, or I will give it, 3 out of 5. I'm pretty sure. It's interesting in the sense that stuff is always happening. Like, something is always happening. The problem is the character. This, like, main character that she created that is, like, snarky and sassy, the way I usually like him. But, at the same time, so passive. It's, you know when a character gets told to stay put, and then they don't stay put, and then shit goes off the rails, and it's really freaking annoying? She's the exact opposite of that. And I never thought it would be as annoying, but nay, it is more annoying. Because not only does she stay put whenever people ask her to stay put, she also stays put when nobody does ask her to stay put. She doesn't do anything to, like, move the story forward. The story happens to her, and she's just kind of, like, battling punches left and right without ever, like, moving anything along. There's this, like, mystery plot of hyenas that are trying to, like, catch her so they can talk to her about her true mate, the guy that she's, like, hasn't seen in, like, 10 years, who used to be, like, super evil, but now he's disappeared. So with these hyenas, they try to kidnap her, like, twice. Everybody else is dealing with that, and she's just like, yeah, you know, I'm gonna let the big guys figure that part out. I'm just a lowly woman. You know, I can't do that shit. Anyway, I'm gonna go back to work and pretend nothing's happening. And I'm like, girly, like, yes, that's what I would do. But also, that's the reason nobody's writing fucking books about me, maybe. The second pet peeve kind of plays off that, and it's the fact that half her problems get resolved by themselves. There's this ongoing, like, issue with her and the Omega primary in her pack. Because she's an Omega, and then there's another Omega. And the strongest Omega in the pack has to become the primary Omega to take care of, like, pack business. I don't know. They're, like, managers, essentially. You have to be a manager if you're, like, the strongest one, right? So that girl has been brought up her whole life thinking that she was going to be the primary Omega, and she was for a while, until our main character, special bitch that she is, comes along, starts growing in power, and is continuously so growing in power. So she's already more powerful than her, and she's going to be even more powerful than her. And this is, like, a problem for her, because she doesn't want to be primary. This girl does want to be primary, but they're, like, not besties, you know, because she doesn't want to give up her role, so she's shitting on her, and she's being shat on, so she's shitting back, and everyone's fighting, right? This is, like, an ongoing thing, like, an ongoing problem in this book for, I don't know, like, 7 hours that I was listening to it, until magically, this other woman, Danica, I think her name was called, but whatever, this other woman, like, comes up to her, and she's like, oh, so I realized that I'm weaker than you, something I haven't, like, realized or wanted to, like, face for the longest time, and I'm actually just going to transfer out of the pack, so you don't have to do that thing you didn't want to do before, which is challenge me and actually get some fucking character development. Oh lord, I don't understand why she would do this. It makes no sense. Why are we getting our problem to, like, go away by itself instead of having our character actually face this problem that she's had to face for this entire book? Like, it was leading up to something, and then it just doesn't go anywhere. Why? I do not know why. And pet peeve number 3 is the fact that I don't really care about the romance. This isn't really, like, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't work. I like fated mates. I really like fated mates. And I get the idea that, like, this is trying to subvert the genre and say, like, oh, your soulmate is the person that you're actually, like, wanting to be with. And if your soulmate's some kind of asshole, then you don't have to be with him just because he's your soulmate. Like, I respect that. The romance, I'm like, about. I didn't really, like, I was more pissed about the rest of this thing. And yes, keep in mind, I have not yet finished this book, and I might DNF it, but it's still going to be a 3 out of 5, so this holds true 100%. I think this is it. No, this is not it. I've also been reading Step Brothers Darling, which I'm also going to DNF, like, right now, because that's what I've been reading. And now I've started reading whatever this is. I've started reading this. I might actually film a video of me reading a bunch of gay romances, because your girl is feeling incredibly gay lately. But this is what I'm going to be reading, and this is what I was reading, and I'm going to completely give up now. It's terrible. It started off fun. I started getting into it at first, I read a review on Goodreads that was basically like, this book is fucking shit, and they do nothing except go to parties and do drugs and look hot. And I read it and I was like, damn, sounds like my kind of book. But now that I am reading it and I'm like halfway through, I realized that they were exactly right, and it wears off really quickly. Because when I started and I was like, parties, drugs, looking hot, fuck yeah, let's fight, let's be besties, let's do all this crazy shit. And that's exactly, like, first 20% of the book, I was having the time of my life. But then it got old. And it got old so quickly, and I am already so freaking tired. Nothing is happening in this book. Like, there's no plot. They're just going to a party, getting fucked up, fucking, coming back, fucking, going to another party, fucking. Another question I have is, why are 3 drug dealers so goddamn rich? You know that they're not that rich from selling drugs in this one city. That's not how anything works. That's just like, it's not economics. So, like, how are they so rich? Did their daddy give them a small loan of $1 million? Maybe, but I still need answers. That being said, I'm giving this up, but if I do finish it, it'll probably be like a 2 out of 5. If I'm giving this up right now, it'll be a 1 out of 5. I don't know. Check my Goodreads if you really, really want to know, but you probably won't, because this is a shit book and I would not recommend anyone to read it. This is the same author that wrote Den of Vipers. Like, objectively not a good book, but one I really enjoyed, so I don't know what went off the rails here. How did that one have a plot and this one doesn't? Like, I mean, that one didn't really have a plot either, now that I think about it. It had like a quarter of a plot. But, you know, that's all this book needed. A quarter of a plot. Like, am I asking for a lot here? No, I don't think I am. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Those are all the books that I've read in the month of March. It was a grand total of like 4, and 2 of those I did not finish. So 10 out of 10 reading month. Yeah, that's it. Thanks for tuning in. I'll see you next month.